This is part 10 of our Never Buy a Clayton Manufactured Home. And in this video, we're going to show you the tactics that Clayton Homes use the moment they discover there's damage. We're going to show you what they do, how they do it, and everybody involved. So let's get started. Both halves of the home and the concrete foundation were destroyed on September 23rd, 2019 by Gary Carr from Carr Mobile Home Service, who was hired by the general manager of Clayton Homes, Jeffy Levy. And the entire incident was captured on video. And Jeffy Levy's not only the general manager at Clayton Homes, he's also the grand wizard behind all of this. Because the moment he was alerted there was damage was the moment he set the wheels in motion to cover it up. And he has an army to help him do it. And the first thing he did was make sure we could not get into the house or even see in the house until he could get Shorty, his repair guy, to come in and hide the damage. They know what to do and how to do it. They know that if the cracks in the ceiling are 1/16 of an inch or larger, that's a code violation that needs to be corrected. So what they're doing is blobbing on massive amounts of ceiling texture to hide the huge cracks. They don't care how it looks because now it becomes cosmetic. And cosmetics are a non-jurisdictional item. Right, Jeffy Levy? We finally entered the house on September 28th, 2019. Not because they wanted us to come in, because they didn't have any choice. We wanted to know what the hell they were doing. And it was obvious that something major had happened, and they were trying to hide it before we could see it. And the more problems we found, the worse they treated us. And they had destroyed the ceiling in every room of the house. And several of the block looked like they had fallen off the back of the truck on the way to the job. So we sent Jeffy Levy a text message, and he informed us that he was going to be ordering an installation inspection from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division. And this is it. It's from Jeffy Levy. He sent it to Jimmy Turner, and he writes, "Thank you, sir. I have notified the customer. I think everything looks good to me, but the customer is very particular and wants blocks replaced that have small chips in them. I thought this would be best. He has a locked gate and they just need to contact them when they are on their way. Thank you, sir. Jeffy Levy, General Manager, Clayton Homes." So, Jeffy Levy accidentally sent this to us instead of Jimmy Turner. And we called him out on it. This house has barely been on our property for 2 weeks. And Jeffy Levy's setting the stage by telling Jimmy Turner that we're very particular and want blocks replaced that have small chips in them. So the installation inspection from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division was scheduled for October 14th, 2019, and the inspector was Derek Scroggins. And the minute he set foot on the property, we informed him that the installer, Gary Carr from Carr Mobile Home Service, had lost a wheel somewhere, destroyed the concrete foundation, and we had 179 issues inside and outside of the house. But he informed us that he was there to inspect the block only. Well, now we're becoming wise to the game they're all playing. And after we received a copy of his report, which was completed on October 20th, 2019, we noticed that he claimed he inspected several other items and marked them okay. The anchors had not been installed. They were marked okay. The ties had not been installed, but they were marked okay. The skirting had not been installed, but it was marked okay. The water nor the power had been turned on, but the home connections were marked okay, and if he had done the job he said he did, he would have noticed that the crossover connections were duct taped to the bottom of the floor joist, instead of running them through the 2-inch hole which is provided in the middle of the floor joist where they're supposed to go. So, Derek Scroggins, do you believe that we can prove this report to be fraudulent beyond a reasonable doubt? We can. So 2019 was a pretty wet year. And every time it rained, these transom windows in the office leaked, even though Shorty had put silicone on them a dozen times. So whatever they were doing wasn't working, so I set out to find the leak myself, and noticed that this corner looked a little weird. So I got my flashlight, and I crawled up on this countertop, and there's a little 1-inch by 4-inch gap in between the cabinets and the wall where you can look up. And this is what I saw. I thought it was water damage when I was looking up there. So I sent Mike Barling, the salesman who sold us the home, a text message. And I told him that I want these cabinets removed so I can get a clear picture of what's behind them. You can only put a Band-Aid so far. So I sent him another text, and I said, this is the corner closest to the leaky window, water damage all the way up to the ceiling. Well, they know something's going on with that corner. That's why they put silicone in there and used their finger to apply it. And there ain't no way they're taking those cabinets down. So I took the cabinets down, and this is what was behind them. Now, they tried to hide this, and this part here was up behind the cabinet. They didn't paint it, but they knew that this corner was doing this, and they tried to hide it. And they were pissed off that I took the cabinets down. It's not water damage at all. The exterior wall had pulled away from the interior wall. And they're trying to hide it. So they started calling in their so-called experts, and this was the first one. This is Charles Grimey. He's the service manager of Southern Energy Homes. He arrived to the property on October 31st, 2019, little baby 2-foot level in hand, and he tried to tell me that the twisted roof, the separating wall, the bowed-out windows, and everything else was fine. He's also the same guy that says your hot water is always on your right and your cold water is always on your left, and you could add the eaves and the porch to the square footage of the house. So nobody should probably listen to this guy. So Charles Grimey failed to convince us that everything was fine, so they went to Plan B. And Tamara Harper, who is the customer care manager of Southern Energy Homes, called us and told us she was going to be sending out a third-party structural engineer. In fact, he was so third-party, she didn't want us on her own property even speaking with him. So on November 6th, 2019, we received a voicemail from Benny from RCS Enterprises, and this is it.
My name is Benny with RCS Enterprises. I have an order to do an inspection on your home this Friday, I believe for Clayton. I was calling to schedule an appointment with you. My number is 8.
So his inspection was scheduled for November 8th, 2019. So when I opened the gate to let him in, Shorty was also out there, and they were talking to each other, and it was obvious they were friends. Shorty was trying to get us to accept the keys and the paperwork to the house. But I told him we were not going to accept the house in its current condition. So we let Benny in, but we did not let Shorty in. And after speaking with Benny for a short period, it turns out he knew everybody involved except for my wife and I. And he informed us that we were not going to be getting a copy of the report. So later on that evening, I sent him a text message, and I said, Tamara from SE Homes told us you were a third party from Allen. Although I think you're a straight shooter, she lied. And he responds, I am a third party in that I don't work directly for the retailers or manufacturers. We are an engineering company and our home offices are in Allen, Texas. So Benny did not provide me with a business card, nor did he take any notes. So I called RCS Enterprises at Allen, Texas to find out if a Benny actually worked there. A Benny does work there, but he's only a home inspector, not an engineer. Now we're becoming tired of all the lies from these people. So we hired an attorney and paid $850 to write a demand letter. And this is what we asked for. Clayton and Southern provide and properly install a new Magnolia manufactured home, the same make and model as the one currently on the property, and reimburse for the cost incurred to date related to the defective home. Or Clayton and Southern remit payment of $200,000 as reimbursement for the cost of the home, the cost of the foundation pad, and various costs related to the defective home. So Southern Energy Homes is actually owned by Clayton Homes. And they have their own attorney, Brent Wells. And he pretty much told us to go F ourselves. And then he calls us all kinds of names in a letter he wrote. He said we were threatening, vulgar, abusive, violent, and racist. Well, he had never met us before. We had never met him. Why would he say something like that? So a consumer complaint inspection was ordered by Brent Wells from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division. And he included this letter as he ordered the inspection. And Jeffy Levy added his own 2 cents. And he says, "Thank you. I sent that on behalf of the customer. I knew the answer, but I wanted them to know that I'd ask. They've been very hard to deal with. Gary has always done such an amazing job, and out of the hundreds of homes he's delivered, I've never had a customer that had a problem with him until now. The customer hates me too, though. I'll keep doing everything I can to get him happy, and know Gary will as well. Thank you so very much. Jeffy Levy, General Manager, Clayton Homes." So the inspector from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division just so happened to be Jimmy Turner. So the consumer complaint inspection was scheduled for January 15th, 2020. And upon meeting Jimmy Turner, we couldn't help wonder if the attorney for Clayton Homes, Brent Wells, called us all kinds of names and accused us of being racist because he knew Jimmy Turner was African American. Now, you see the look Inspector Turner's given me from across the property? It sure seems like he was there to give a consumer complaint ass whipping than he was a consumer complaint inspection. Let's check it out. You can't make that up, can you? So after receiving a copy of Inspector Turner's report, and out of the hundreds of issues we pointed out during his inspection, he only ordered 6 measly items for the manufacturer, the retailer, and the installer to correct. And after a little research, it was discovered that his report was supposed to specify each of the consumer's complaints. And the person conducting the inspection shall inspect all matters relating to the home and or the installation of the home set forth in the complaint and any other items raised at the inspection. So Clayton Homes doesn't expect you to uncover stuff like this. They expect you to comply and allow the manufacturer, the retailer, and the installer to come in and fix the measly little things that are on the state inspector's report, and you can take them to court for the rest, just like the email we received from Clayton Homes liar attorney Brent Wells, where he writes, "Please favor us with a reply to my email below from Monday. Since you launched complaint case, MHD 202-0000559-W. It is apparent that you have issues concerning your manufactured home, and we cannot understand why you would not want at least some of those to be addressed as the TDHCA has ordered. Thanks for your anticipated cooperation, DB Wells. So it was pretty apparent that Jimmy Turner and Clayton Holmes were conspiring against us. So after our constant emails to Clayton Holmes and the TDHCA, we were assigned a liaison from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division by the name of Keith Lawrenson. And he told us that it was okay for Jimmy Turner to get in our face and be aggressive like that because there have been fistfights between homeowners and retailers. And they really didn't know how long Gary Carr was towing the house around with the missing wheel, so that was okay too. So we continuously and repeatedly emailed the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division and told them that we had Inspector Jimmy Turner on video lying, colluding with Clayton Holmes, and knowingly and intentionally withholding crucial damages from his report. So we even reached out to Home First Agency, who carries our homeowners insurance, and we had to pester them every day for about 2 weeks before they decided to send out an adjuster, who arrived to the property on April 6th, 2020. She was polite, she was courteous, and she was professional throughout her entire inspection. And she watched the video of Gary Carr from Carr Mobile Home Service destroying the house during installation. And this is what she said as she was departing.
I'll send it to Reggie and see what he says. Unfortunately, I can't give my opinion, but you have eyes and I have eyes.
So, did you hear that? Unfortunately, I can't give my opinion, but you have eyes and I have eyes. She knows that the house is tore up from the floor up, but she can't say anything. So on April 20th, 2020, we received an email from our claims specialist, Reggie Lane, and this is what he writes. I hope you are able to get these issues resolved with the dealership. Your homeowner's policy does not have coverage for damage caused due to workmanship, setup, or installation of the home, unfortunately. I tell you, there's nothing like having an insurance company that'll go the extra mile for you. He should have just said, so what? So if I told you that Home First Agency and Clayton Homes were owned by the same person, would that surprise you? So we continuously and repeatedly sent emails to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division, and on May 27th, 2020, the Deputy Executive Director, Jim R. Hicks, sent an email to Eric Franklin, who is a manager for licensing, enforcement, and installations. And this is what he wrote. Eric, see below email from Mr. Blank. I'm sure you've already seen a copy before. Even though Mr. Blank has not filed a complaint on the required form or online, as a courtesy to Mr. Blank, please open a new consumer complaint regarding his home. Also, please get with Bradley to assign new inspectors to the complaint. I would suggest we send 2 of our most seasoned inspectors, maybe Howard and Randall. If you have any questions, we can meet tomorrow. Thanks, Eric. So we did not order a second consumer complaint inspection. It was ordered by Jim R. Hicks, the Deputy Executive Director. And he ordered it as a courtesy. What a guy. So on June 5th, we received voicemail from one Howard Dick. And this is it.
Hi, my name is Howard Dilk, and I'm with the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs.
So Inspector Howard Dilk's inspection was conducted on June 17th, 2020, which was at the peak of the coronavirus pandemic. Inspector Delk did not wear any face mask. He had open sores on his face, and he continuously picked his nose throughout his inspection. And then he had no problems touching anybody or anything. And let's see why he says his inspection was ordered.
This is the second consumer complaint inspection for this house. The first one back in, I guess January, I think it was 15th. And so after that first inspection, there was questions about whether all the issues had been addressed and resolved, and that's why it was
So did you hear that? There was a question of whether all the issues had been addressed and resolved. That's what Howard Delp says is the reason for the second inspection. Not as a courtesy, like the Deputy Executive Director Jim R. Hicks said. So, this is Eric Tampax. He's the Vice President of NTA. He was hired by the attorney of Clayton Homes. Let's listen to how long Inspector Delk has known his father, shall we?
And your father was started in here. That's correct. Met your father in yeah.
Oh, so Inspector Delk has known his father for 30 years. Here's another interesting fact about NTA. They are the IPIA, which is the Implant Inspection Agency for Southern Energy Homes. They are the quality control of Southern Energy Homes. So NTA is hired by the manufacturer to conduct its in-house inspections. They were also hired by the attorney of Southern Energy Homes and Clayton Homes. And it says right here on their website, the inspector must be independent of the manufacturer, the retailer, the installer, or any person that has a monetary interest. And he took hundreds of pictures. And we video recorded every picture he took. And we're going to show you what he submitted in his report and what he didn't submit in his report. And I'm pretty sure we can take NTA down. So in these two notebooks that Clayton Homes liar attorney Brent Wells left outside my gate, they had Gary Carr from Carr Mobile Home Service insurance information. And we opened a claim against him. And were assigned a Kim who was a senior claims consultant. And we informed her that we had Gary Carr from Carr Mobile Home Service on video destroying both halves of the house and the concrete foundation. We also have 3 crooked line corrupt inspectors from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division on video conspiring with Clayton Homes. We also have Inspector Delk on video telling us that it's an insurance claim, and this is it.
What you can't do is that you can file an insurance claim against the transporter's insurance for that. But this is not
We've
jurisdiction.
asked like 20 times for the insurance for Gary Carr. We've asked them. They refused to give it to us.
Okay, well, that's something you're gonna have to work out with them. This should be an insurance
Yeah, well,
claim.
you guys are here.
But the thing is,
So we sent Kim all the videos of the inspections, of the installation, and we told her that we have these inspectors on video knowingly and intentionally withholding crucial damages and defects from the home. And we have Inspector Delk on video telling us it's an insurance claim. So with everything that we had sent her, this was her response. Based on the above information and investigation, which is not necessarily an exhaustive list of defense, your claim against the reference bond is denied in its entirety. That's because the corrupt Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Manufactured Housing Division are the ones who decide on whether these bonds should be paid out or not. So this bond was denied, even though we had Inspector Delk on video telling us it's an insurance claim. And this is it, again.
Can do is that you can file an insurance claim against the transporter's insurance for that. But this is not something we have jurisdiction.
We've asked like 20 times for the insurance for Gary Carr.
So, do you believe this, huh? Do you think these inspectors are Clayton Homes employees hiding behind the power and authority of the state? Sure seems like it, huh? It's truly mind-boggling to see how many people and agencies are involved in this. They have absolutely made it almost impossible to fight them. So your only recourse is making people aware of what's going on. We make these videos, we hang numerous signs, and we pass out t-shirts and flyers. I think we're going to wrap up part 10 of our Never Buy a Clayton Manufactured Home. In our next videos, we're going to start going through all the reports that we have, and we're going to match them up with the videos. We have all the codes and the guidelines. In fact, these are criminal acts these people are committing. And we're going to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. I had no idea it would evolve into this. They're approaching 45,000 views with 140 subscribers. And I want everyone to know that we appreciate it. So if you think that all the players in this video are criminals, go ahead and ring the bell. And if you think that they're not criminals, go ahead and ring the bell. Thanks for watching. See you in a couple weeks.